Hi everyone, I'm Divya Singh and I'm a master's in mathematics from Delhi University. Today we're going to do some basic concepts of trigonometry. So hope you guys like it. Can you see this triangle ABC? It's a right triangle with one angle equal to 90 degrees. So AB becomes the perpendicular, BC becomes the base, and AC becomes the hypotenuse. So basically, sine theta is a ratio of perpendicular by hypotenuse by definition. Similarly, cos theta is the ratio between base and hypotenuse, and tan theta is the ratio between sine theta and cos theta, which makes it the ratio of nothing but perpendicular by base, when this is clearly theta. Now, to learn more concepts of trigonometry, it's really important to remember these values of sine, cos, and tan. So as you can see, they're pretty easy to remember. And the most important values you need to remember is for degrees 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. Now, this is quite easy, but what if I want to know something like sine of 150 degrees, or something like a cos of 240 degrees, or even a tan of 300 degrees. What do I do then? Well, it's not that difficult, and let's see how. So can you see this two-dimensional plane with this is the x-axis, the y-axis, and origin? Now I've drawn a unit circle around it, and by unit circle I basically mean the circle which has radius equal to 1. Now if I draw a line which is basically the radius and meets the circle at some point P with coordinates x, y. This means that if I draw perpendicular PB on the x-axis, this value OB becomes x and PB becomes y. Now, we just learned that cos theta, when this angle projected here is theta, is nothing but the ratio between base and hypotenuse, which is x by 1 equal to x. Similarly, sine theta is equal to y by 1, which is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, equal to y. And tan theta is the ratio of sine and cos, which is equal to y by x. Now, as we know that in the first quadrant, all x's and y's are positive, that means all cos, sine, and tan are positive. Let me write that here. And now let's move to the second quadrant. Let me draw a similar triangle which touches the circle at P dash and a perpendicular on x-axis B dash. This means this is also x and this is also y. It's just that because now we're in the second quadrant, this value will actually be represented as minus x and this will remain plus y. Now, if I need to find the value of cos, sine, and tan, it's important for me to know one thing, that whenever we are calculating the values, the angle is always measured from the positive x-axis. That means now when I'm finding cos, sine, and tan, I'm going to be finding the values for this angle. Now, can this angle be represented in any other way? What about this? Cos 180 minus theta, where this was theta because these two triangles were similar. So don't you think this angle is nothing but 180 degrees minus this angle, which is theta? Now this is also the base upon hypotenuse. So the base here is minus of x by 1, which is minus x. And from this we know x is cos theta, so minus x becomes minus cos theta. Similarly, sine of 180 minus theta becomes y of 1, y over 1 because y is still positive, which is equal to sine theta. And finally, tan of 180 minus theta is equal to their ratio, which becomes y by minus x, which is equal to minus y by x or minus tan theta. So here we observed that cos and tan are negative, whereas sine always remains positive. So can I say sine will always remain positive? Finally, in the third quadrant, Now, if we project a similar triangle here, which is giving out this angle theta, so what I'm going to call this instead of just theta is 180 degree plus theta. So this becomes cos 180 plus theta, which is again minus x. Because we're in the third quadrant here, both x and y will be negative. So it's minus x by 1, which is minus of cos theta. Similarly, sine 180 plus theta is going to be minus y by 1, which is minus of sine theta. Interestingly here, tan of 180 plus theta will be their ratio, and their minus and minus gets cancelled, so we get a y by x, which is positive tan theta. That means here we always get cos and sine as negative and tan as positive. Finally, if we draw a triangle with theta here again, now instead of complicating it and calling it like a 270 plus something, we're just going to call it 360 degrees, which is this, minus theta. So we're going to call cos 360 minus theta is equal to x by 1. And why is it positive? Because in the fourth quadrant, x's are positive and y's are negative, which gives us plus cos theta. Sine is 360 minus theta, which gives us minus y by 1 because we know y's are negative, which is minus of sine theta. And finally, tan of 360 minus theta is minus y by x, which is minus tan theta, which gives us cos to be always positive. So we learned that in first quadrant all are positive, in second only sine is positive, third tan is positive, and the fourth cos is positive. Which brings us to our original questions. What is the value of sine 150? Which is nothing but sine 180 minus 30, which I can call as sine 30 because I know that it's in the second quadrant and sine is always positive. So now by this table, we know sine of 30 degrees is half, so we get 1 by 2. Now cos of 240, and I'm sure you can solve this. Cos of 240 is 180 plus 60 degrees, which is the third quadrant and gives us cos to be negative. We get this to be minus half. And finally, tan of 300 is tan 360 minus 60. Fourth quadrant gives us tan to be negative, so we get minus tan 60 equal to minus of root 3. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm sure you can solve all such questions easily.